Hello, hello, everybody. Come on in, grab a seat and a beverage, and we are going to continue our discussion today on where is Sebastian Rogers. We have been going through all the old videos to see if there's anything that we missed, trying to figure things out. And for those of you who missed our members only live today, we had a really good time. I was on screen in the flesh, guys. You missed it. I don't do that very often, but we enjoyed ourselves today. We were trying to figure some things out. Dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches. Good to see you. Island, hello, hello. It's good to see you guys. Happy to have you here. All right. So today during our live, we were just kind of throwing a bunch of stuff out there, We talked about the leaked audio where Chris called Heather. That was pretty painful to hear. You're welcome, dreaming. And yeah, that was pretty painful. That was really painful. We debuted a new party that we're going to do. And it's going to go by our number of likes. So be sure and hit that like button. It's kind of like, what should I say? Kind of like the chicken party or machete party. Kind of like that, but it's Granny's version. Oh, dreaming of blue skies. I appreciate that. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. I can actually, I think, make you one right on the spot. Let me look. I think I can. I can. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Can always use extras. It takes the pressure off of the others in case they can't be here on time or whatever, right? It's not like we're super, super busy yet, but we're going to get there. All right. Brenda Joe, hello. Canine, hello. Good to see you guys again. Yeah, so I was just kind of telling everybody what we talked about this morning. Hello, Ginger. Oh, I thought I was going to be late, but I wasn't. I had to take Lacey out too before I got in here. I did take a little nap after after our live this afternoon. I was so tired and my back was hurting. I just kind of kicked back in the recliner and dozed a little bit. But yeah, it was really something. All right. So what I was looking at, well, let's first share something that I found today I thought was really kind of interesting. So Peter Hyatt put this out. And he says, over many years, in-person interviews for child abuse allegations, when boyfriend or stepfather introduces the topic of discipline, choosing his own words, the child was physically abused. In missing children's cases, analysis from transcripts, when the mother's boyfriend or stepfather talks about discipline, the abuse is central to why the child went missing. The latter is far more intense due to the child's unknown to law enforcement and the public status and plight. Sebastian Rogers' case is an example of the guilty seeking to control a narrative that he knows will condemn him. The guilty knowledge rises to the surface if we are listening critically, not emotionally. It is his own words, not mine, yours, nor the interviewer. Isn't that interesting, guys? And how long have we been saying that it has to be Chris's narrative? Whoa. Right? I really like Peter Hyatt. So yeah, the guilty knowledge rises to the surface if we are listening critically, not emotionally. And that's the key, isn't it? Because we were talking, well, we've talked about this before in other lives as well as our members only live today, where it is really hard not to get upset when Chris is going off, right? It's really hard. You know, it triggers some people, you know, and it's so our emotions get involved in that. And he brings up a really good point. The guilty knowledge rises to the surface if we are listening critically, not emotionally. And the other part of that is that how can we not help but be emotional about Sebastian, right? I mean, guys, I'm emotional about Sebastian. I'll be the first to admit that, right? So let's going forward from right now, going forward, anything. Let's listen closely and try to think critically and keep our emotions out of what Chris says and see what we think we might see. That a deal, guys? Sound good? Awesome. All right. So, K9, you want to keep track of our likes today? Let me know how many we've got right now. All right. So, I had to change that back. I had it different earlier because I was on screen. Okay. I'm going to share my screen, and the first video that we are going to watch, Chris actually calls in to a live call-in show. I'm going to have to check into that. I wonder if that's expensive. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Maybe. Am I ready for something like that? I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to watch that first. All right. And I think I got it right about to the time where he calls in. On here though, because you can't tell. They don't bring him up on panel, so.
Everything she said is passed over to law enforcement. We're going to do that together when we finish on the call, so that they will actually give them the
like
call. They can listen to it themselves. What did you make of it?
I want to add this to that call then.
Yep.
Because you're talking to Chris, the stepfather of Sebastian Rogers,
Oh.
now.
Oh, hi.
I thought
So
so.
here's the funny thing. The thing that lady was after spewing,
Yeah.
absolutely crap.
Okay.
That's the funny thing.
Right.
Absolutely crap.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no worries. I just,
I didn't want to
everybody
upset
wants to
her.
get all these answers and they want to get stuff straight. Well, let's get stuff straight. Let's put this out here for everybody to understand.
Yeah.
See, when you have people like that called into your show and they say they have all this information.
Okay, guys, remember, we're not listening with our emotion. We're listening critically, right? I had to kind of stop myself. Okay, so we have, all right, so we have 7 right now. Okay. So if we get to 15 likes, I will show our Chris cheerleading party, okay? Not a problem, K9. I think you just have to, I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm looking too to see. And on my screen it says 6, so I don't know. It's like it always shows more otherwise. Okay, let's continue. Thinking critically, not with our emotions.
And when you ask the question, why didn't you call law enforcement? Her answer was because my son didn't want me to.
Yeah, there's an
That
issue.
right there's a red flag that is absolute BS.
But you've got to be careful what you say on here. I don't want to upset the woman. You know what I mean? She's given me the
I'm not
information.
upsetting her. I am stating the facts.
Yeah, you're right.
Because the reason why, I'm one of the parents. And let's talk about upsetting people, because you've got people that go on these shows and they say these kinds of things, and they don't use common sense. Because if she had the information, so you mean to tell me that you just went on a show with 44,000 subscribers that you have, and she openly admitted that she wouldn't call the cops but had information? What kind of person with a compassionate heart says something like that?
Probably somebody
doesn't make any sense.
It's probably somebody with a bit of Alzheimer's, or somebody that's seen something on Facebook and has,
Yeah, see, but once again, that's where it goes right back to speculations and assumptions, and then they put out false and misleading information, and unfortunately, it truly bogs down the investigation from law enforcement on every aspect.
It does.
So, I mean, and I'm sure Seth would agree with me, and so does Katie on this deal, but we really don't want the rest of the BS out there. We just want true hardcore leads that could actually lead somewhere, not
I understand
somebody who thinks they saw something and whatnot. We would just really call in and get those leads in if they feel that.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. The only problem is I'm a paramedic, so I understand you're going to get people that may have problems. They may have dementia, and they don't understand, they don't realize. And if they were 30 years younger, they probably wouldn't call in because they know that it was just something that was in their mind that they'd seen earlier on say Facebook or somewhere. We can't medically diagnose somebody over here, but just by speaking.
No, I mean, you don't have to diagnose anybody over the air, but common sense, I don't care who you are, would say that if you have the information and you think it's a credible thing, you should call law enforcement regardless. I mean, how would somebody feel if their child went missing and they were in our shoes and they had all these people calling in and saying that they have spotted this child, they've seen this and they've seen that, but refused to call it in? I mean,
So, what she was saying didn't make sense to me about, the person may have Alzheimer's or something. Well, excuse me. How would you know that? Right? How would you know that? And then in the next breath saying you can't diagnose somebody. Well, no, you can't. So don't. What Chris is saying right now is pretty realistic. He does discredit those that conflict with him. He does. Because he's trying to control his narrative. But what he is saying right at this moment, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. I feel like somebody, I don't understand why she said that unless she knows the person that she was talking about, you know. But if somebody had a lead, they should be calling it in, my opinion. I don't know. I just found that really weird why she said that.
Tips are better than no tips, but
Yeah.
true common sense on things like, when people say, well, I just didn't want to call it in, that is a red flag right there. Even with law enforcement saying this.
Yeah.
When people say,
She said her
well,
family didn't want
didn't
her
want
to get
call
involved.
it, from 9 to 1.
Yeah,
because
she said her family didn't want her to get involved, and there is probably a reason for that, like you said, but we
She's
don't know.
78 years old.
She's 78,
Well, anonymous reporting is perfectly okay.
Yeah, she
You
wasn't
don't have to give
going to
information.
report
It has to come of it, but
Yeah,
we
will pass
once
it
again,
across.
this just goes right back to where we keep asking everybody if there's something, just reach out into law enforcement. Just all you got to do is pick up the phone and call them. You don't wait.
But the thing
Call
is,
them
it's not up
immediately.
to us as the public to sift through tips and work out what we feel is right and genuine and what's not. It's a case of this comes in, this is the information, you decide. It isn't up to us to I know what you're saying. It does bog them down with all this crap. But
I'm also saying that you've got folks that come in on your show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm being very respectful when I say this, but they're coming in on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say this to any creator out there.
Mm-hmm.
When you have somebody that comes on your show and wants to make statements like that, and nobody.
He would say this to any creator out there. Okay, my emotions. He's controlling the narrative. Am I wrong? It is so difficult to listen to Chris and not get emotional because of the way that he talks.
Nobody stops them and asks them the questions that make common sense. Like, okay, you don't want to get it reported. You don't want to be involved. That's fine. There's also anonymous reporting that you can put out there. And that might help change the narrative as far as whether or not they want to report things. It's just looking out for all parties' interests. Yeah. Sebastian being number one, the missing child.
Yeah.
Our son,
I understand that. But unfortunately, some people are going to have problems, It's difficult. It's difficult. We did get as much information.
She makes
I don't think
no
she was going to
sense.
tell us anything about her. I did ask. But she gave us the information of the store. If they can listen to the call, can't they, for themselves? I'll give them the link. They can listen. If they find it a load of rubbish, they can just say no. They can decide for themselves.
But
we're just
help us out on your show and just keep pushing the narrative as far as if you see something, say something, don't wait.
Yeah.
Every time that somebody fails to make a report and they wait 2 days, that's 2 days behind on a report or a lead that could be substantial.
Well,
nobody actually knows where these go and how important they are.
We asked her multiple times, like, will you please call in? Multiple times. No. First, she said she didn't have a phone or she wasn't allowed to. And then she mentioned something about her son. It was just, I think as the call progressed, we could kind of work
but if
out.
you notice, people are having excuses. Didn't have a phone. My family doesn't want involved. My son doesn't want me to report it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of
still
odd.
could have seen
it's
her
very
stepson. She might have seen him.
Okay, so here's my question, guys. Oh, we're up to 9. Awesome. listening to what Chris is saying here, he's wanting everybody to call in their tips right away. What are your thoughts? When you listen to him talking about this, do you think that he's part of Sebastian's disappearance? Do you still feel that way if that was what you felt before? That's my question. I'm like, okay, if you've got a narrative and you know what I'm saying? Or is that part of the narrative? Is that part of the narrative? Is he trying to make people think that? What do you think? Let me know. I'm curious.
Law enforcement person hears this, they're also going to be just doing the exact same thing. It's very odd.
I'd like to
that
think
somebody
they
doesn't
would
want to
look at
report.
all information that comes in. I would like to think that if I sent them the link to this and gave them the time, that they would listen to it and take it seriously.
But would you provide the phone number?
Yeah, if they want it, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, the thing is that if you're going to send them the link, you would probably need to send them the phone number of the caller at the time, so that way they could reach out instead of having to do extra legs of work to find this person if you've got the information.
I've got all the information because it's a recorded call, so we're going to go back through it and write everything down, pass
Yes,
on the
absolutely.
telephone number. They can make that decision and then they can decide what they want to do with it. I mean, I think we've already decided that it's probably nothing, but she seems to think she's seen him, whether it's because she's seen him somewhere else, like on Facebook. I don't know, but let them decide. But I know what you mean. It is annoying when when loads of people are sending in tips that are a load of rubbish.
Did I say 10 or 15, guys?
So,
I mean,
have you been?
True. I mean,
have you been searching
Sometimers.
today? Then have you been busy?
I work nights, so I'm just now getting up, and this is what I got up to here.
Oh, you've been on nights.
Yeah, I'm actually having to go back to work. I actually go back to work.
Do they use cranes during the night?
That's what I said.
Cranes
Okay.
run 24/7.
5 more lights to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
over here they don't.
They may not run like that over in Europe. I'm not sure.
No,
I can't. I'm not going to speak for Europe.
No. Oh, okay then. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Chris. It's the first time I've spoken to you. Thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah, thank you.
So just appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Talk to you again soon.
Y'all have a good day.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Okay. So here's my question, guys. For you. He was pretty controlled. Island. I think CP is too busy online and giving advice on how to discipline, how to be a husband, and how to be a YouTube crime channel. Well, see, he's got a narrative to run, does he not? You know, so he's got to. He's the perfect parent because he knows how far to go with discipline. He's the perfect husband, you know, and you know, he's protecting Katie. And yes, YouTube crime channels need to listen to what he has to say because this is what they need to do. Got to follow Chris's narrative, you know, but I am. Oh my gosh. So I am thinking that even him coming on and saying, put these, you know, get these tips, call the police, you know, get them out to law enforcement right away. And I'm thinking, well, if you're guilty, why would you want them to do that? But it's all part of the narrative, isn't it? To make him look not guilty, right? I mean, if we're critically thinking. Be interesting. Yes, he had a much cleaner mouth than the earlier video. He really did. He was actually not too bad, which surprises me. Um, so we've got another video to watch. Those of you who are in here, if you haven't hit the like button, hit it, because when we get to up to 15 likes, we're going to have Chris's cheerleading party. Okay. The next one is guess who again, guys? Uh-oh. It's Pascal. He looks pretty bad there. So actually he's going to have Seth and Tony on this show. These interviews were done, let me look. The one with Chris calling into Crime Stories was done on May 2nd, and Pascal was May 3rd. Oh my gosh, guys, the next video. We're not going to do. I just made an executive decision. The one after this, we will skip. All right.
About. But one thing I do want to bring up is that we do have a new member coming in and is going to be a part of the search, be a part of the information giving out to media, these podcast streets, etc. There is a new member coming on and taking over as spokesperson for Seth Rogers. So first I want to bring in
I would be on national
Tony
media
Mathis
news.
And of course, Seth Rogers, of course, in the chat. Good afternoon, fellas. How
We're
y'all
up to
feeling?
11 likes.
Good evening. Hello, Team Sebastian.
Yes.
How you doing, Pascal?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good. First off, Tony, we got to get straight into it because I know a lot of people are going to sit there and go, wait a second. Tony looks mad familiar. Haven't I seen him on something else before? Yes. No, you didn't see him on a rerun of Friends. You were seeing him on the most recent case that he's still on and still a spokesperson for Caleb
Exactly,
Harris.
Dreaming.
So I want to say, first off, thank you so much for stepping forward and linking up with Seth to be his spokesperson.
Of course. Of course.
Now, I'm curious, Seth, why are you having a spokesperson now?
It's been 66 days since my son has gone missing, and dealing with searching, making sure that people are getting vetted, dealing with interviews and everything else. It's time consuming. It's stressful. And when he offered to assist me with it, God sent somebody.
That's what's up. Now, and I love that there is going to be this new alliance. You got Tony coming through, and he's going to speak on behalf of the case, because I know that you have a lot going on for yourself right now, Seth. I mean, as far as just being on there, boots on the ground, trying to find Sebastian right now, there's a lot going on. You know, you're traveling quite a bit. There's a lot of chaos, and there's got to be someone who can actually be connected to the media while you go out and do what you need to do. So, Tony, welcome to the search. Welcome to the story. How's it been so far with this whole thing right now?
It's been good. I mean, Seth and I have gotten close. I've had some good conversations with him. I've also had some good conversations with Chris and Katie. My goal was initially to try to bring everybody together and limit some of the drama that had been out there in the social media streets, as you say.
Right.
and simply want to help get everybody redirected and find Sebastian. So again, I've had a lot of good conversations with Seth. I've had good conversations with Chris and Katie, and we're not completely done. I'd love to represent them all three and get everybody working together.
Can I ask you that though? Let's get that. Let's get that out of the way. Get the elephant in the room out the way. Has there been any conversations with the Proudfoots, and why aren't you representing all three right now?
So I've laid that offer out there for Chris and Katie. Again, I had about a 2-hour phone conversation with them last week. I felt like we were in a good place. I made it known kind of how I operate, which is I do control all the media. I really would like, as I've told Seth and I told Chris the same thing, told Katie the same thing. I really would like them to be out from in front of the camera. I think there's been a lot of drama, a lot of deterrence from finding Sebastian. And really, I'd like to take control of that for them and get everybody united to finding Sebastian. So, one of the prerequisites when we...
So we knew, listening to him now and looking back, we should have known that was never going to happen, right? Because Chris controls the narrative. And you heard Tony say I wanted to control social media. No. Yeah. That wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. I'm glad that Seth has him. Because I think that he kept Seth on an even keel, so that Seth didn't get, over emotional maybe, say things that he shouldn't, that kind of thing. I think that he kept him, honestly, on a pretty even keel. Were there some things that came out? Yeah. I don't think you were going to stop some of it. But I think the worst of it was over, actually, before Tony even came. And that was one of the reasons why he wanted to help, But, yeah. Didn't happen.
Do an interview as I told you earlier today is, if I was representing Chris and Katie and I was doing an interview with them, there would be no talking about Seth. And when we do an interview with Seth, we're not going to discuss Chris and Katie. We're not going to throw darts at each other. I'm going to lead by example. And we are going to focus on finding Sebastian, just like we're focused on finding Caleb on the other case I'm working on. So blessed to be a part of this. And I think we got a lot of work to do, but I'm up for the challenge.
No doubt. Seth, anything you want to add on top of what Tony just said?
His goal is my goal. To keep Sebastian in the forefront. Sebastian is the goal. Everything else is a distraction. We just want to find Sebastian and bring him home. Right on.
I think we all can agree on that, right? Every single one of us that's in the chat. Even so, I know that there's going to be some pushback, some people that feel some type of way about anything about this case, but we can all agree. We can all agree on that one thing, which is bringing Sebastian back home. So let's talk about Sebastian. There's been some new information, some photos, or at least a photo that recently dropped. And I want to share this with you guys because, of course, I know you guys already know about this, but I want to confirm a few things, okay? So here is the photo itself, okay? Of course, this was found, or apparently there was a sighting at the visitor center at the Grandfather Mountain, Linville, North Carolina. Now, I'm very interested to know, in your personal opinion, Seth, since we have you here, do you believe this to be a sighting, like a legitimate sighting of Sebastian?
I believe so.
Okay. Now,
I know that I jumped in my vehicle and drove to North Carolina.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So you drove all the way down to North Carolina to the actual space, to the place where this photo was taken. Was there anything in particular that you saw or anything of that sort before we get into the more finite details? Was there anything like to confirm that this was an actual sighting of someone and that this was not actual AI?
My
You there,
private
Seth?
investigator, she did reach out and spoke to the person who took the picture
Mm-hmm.
and to the person that posted the picture.
Okay, so there was actual conversation with somebody who actually took this photo,
Correct.
right? Okay, so Tony, do you mind expanding a little bit on that for us?
I was not involved I was involved in the conversation with Seth while he was almost all the way to North Carolina.
Okay.
And I told him that when he got there that he was probably going to be disappointed, that they probably would not. This is when we had heard there was footage. And I explained to him that they were probably not going to share the footage with him. And when he got there, he kind of figured out that that's what the situation was. And I explained to him that it was new information, and until it was vetted, it was going to be held close to the chest. And quite frankly, I completely understood why law enforcement was doing that. And when they vetted that information, and if it was information that they deemed to be relevant to be disseminated, then it would be disseminated to Katie and to Seth. But we've got to verify that is him, and they've got to do their homework, and we've got to be patient. But I completely understand why Seth, if I was a father, I'm in my vehicle and I'm on my way there just like he was.
Yeah, no doubt.
He used it as a great opportunity to hand out flyers, create some awareness.
Can you imagine, guys, how that must have felt? He got in his car because it may be his son, and he drove all the way there, and he wasn't able to get any information, and he's a father. I can't imagine how that felt. I agree with Tony. I understand they need to look into things. They can't, um, and as hard as it would be for a father not to jump in their car, I think, the best thing to do is to stick around, right? Because you don't know what's going on. You don't have any idea. So, yeah, that had to have been very, very difficult. Whoops. At 9:43 p.m. the night before, yeah. Okay, Ginger, I saw something, and what's the 9:43 p.m. for? Tell me. There's a reason you put that time in there, woman. You know that I look at that stuff. You're teasing me?
Asked some questions, and I was certainly proud of him for getting in the vehicle and heading right there, no questions asked, because that's the same thing I would have done.
Right on. So when it comes to Seth, real quick, the conversation that your PIs had with the person who actually took the photo, what exactly did they say? What was the interaction like? How did they get this photo taken? So on and so on.
I wasn't privy to that conversation. My private investigator already knew that I was going to want the picture vetted, and she reached out. She did that prior to me asking.
That is a really good point, Ginger. The beginning of that long phone call, 9:43 p.m., they had to get the narrative straight. That's interesting. Very interesting. those of you just hopping in, come on and hit that like button. We're going to have a Chris cheerleading party when we get to 15 likes. All right.
So when I turned around and asked her, she said she had already vetted the picture and I
Okay.
loaded up and headed up there. When I got there, Tony was right. They would not let me see the video footage. So I took that opportunity to hand out flyers. Nobody knew my son was missing to begin with. It is North Carolina. It's outside of Tennessee. But I used the opportunity as I went up there. Every time I stopped for gas, used the bathroom, anything, hand out flyers the whole way up and the whole way back.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you used your resources in the best way possible, right? And kept spreading the word even when you were down there and all your path back home or back to Tennessee. But can we talk about that for a second? So you went all the way down there, right? You went all the way down to Linville, North Carolina, right? Because you saw this photo, you believe that it is to be that of Sebastian. You go down there, you ask, can I see the photo or can I see some footage? And they said no. Why did they do that, Seth? Do you know?
It's under investigation. They informed me that law enforcement had told them not to share the video until everything had been vetted. From my understanding, TBI reached out to North Carolina, what they classify as SBI, and asked for their assistance. And
interesting.
It's under an investigation. They're not going to show it. They're not going to release it.
But I feel like naturally a lot of people are going to react the same way. I'm thinking in my head. It's like, this is your biological son. You have rights, don't you? So why wouldn't they let you go and see this footage? Tony, can you expand on that a little bit?
So I broke this down for you earlier today, and I broke it down for Seth the other day, and Seth can answer this question as we play through this. If they show that video to Seth, and that video shows Sebastian walking into a vehicle and getting into a vehicle with a stranger, and Seth catches a glimpse of the license plate on that vehicle, Seth, what would you do in that situation?
Retrieve my son by any means necessary.
Exactly.
By any means necessary.
So
Yeah.
that's why.
Okay. So that makes sense to a certain extent, but I feel you on Seth's side. My knee-jerk reaction would be, I'm knocking on that door. Okay. They're going to know my presence like lickety split, right? But I do get it that they want to make sure everything.
So you bring up a good point, Ginger. You said to me the call is meaningless. Sebastian is home safe in his room. Why mention the call? And that's true. Why did? Oh, well, because they knew police would ask. That's why they mentioned it. Police would ask why there was a 3-hour phone call. Right? So they're getting ahead of the narrative there. They're getting ahead of the they're ahead of the game there. They're thinking ahead. That's why they brought it up. But I believe that is exactly what they were doing, is talking about the narrative. We're up to 13 likes, everybody. Awesome. 2 more, and we're going to have a party. Yeah, the phone invited Chris into the narrative. That makes so much sense. No worries, no worries. All right, so let's continue on. And, I like what Tony said here. He made a lot of sense because he said, Seth, if you saw the license plate, what would you do? I would go retrieve my son by any means necessary. Yeah, he'd take the law into his own hands, and it could be a real problem. He could get killed or whatever, depending on who had Sebastian, right? So, yeah, it's always best to let law enforcement handle that kind of situation. And, from times past, like when when missing children are found, you know, in the woods or wherever, they usually make the parents hang back and they bring the child to the parents. And that makes total sense to me. You know, because parents aren't going to worry about a crime scene or anybody that might be, you know, responsible, right? All right.
Thing is properly vetted before they release any type of information. But it's been a week now. So what's taking so doggone long? Tony?
Well, there's a lot to it. I mean, they've got to first verify that of who took the picture. They've got to do their homework on that. They've got a video. They're gonna probably have to get some subpoenas. I mean, it's not a lot different than a lot of other cases. I mean, you start having to get subpoenas for information, and none of that happens quickly. So, you know, obviously the situation that Seth is in, if I'm him, I want it done yesterday. If I'm Katie or Chris, I want it done yesterday. But the truth is, there is going to have to be a little bit of patience to figure out what it is we're digging into here.
I see. Yeah, but it's so weird. I mean, and that's just me. You know, I'm just a regular guy here. All right.
You're a dad.
Yeah, I'm a dad, you know, but I'm also a human being too, right? And instantly I'm going, wait a second. All right, this doesn't make any sense. Why are they dragging their feet on this information? Especially when there is, just making sure this is abundantly clear for everybody who's watching, even the fam that's watching from the nosebleed seats. There is actual video of this particular person. There is actual footage of this. That's correct, Seth?
Correct.
There is actual footage of that, correct, Seth?
Correct.
That's crazy. Tony, Seth, that's absolutely crazy. That is crazy. And yet still nothing. Now, you know that there's video, but what exactly did they say about it? How do you know that there's video in the first place?
Seth, I'll let you take that.
Well, they have security cameras.
So somebody came to you, but somebody came to you and actually said, yes, there's actual video footage.
When I arrived, I could see that there was security cameras, which means there will be footage. And when I asked, they told me that they were informed not to show me anything because it is under investigation by law enforcement.
Wow. Okay. And there's nothing you can do to expedite this at all?
No, sir.
Man. Okay. Because it's been...
Pray.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Seth.
Pray.
I mean, that's insane.
Continue to pray.
You can only continue to pray. So then, okay, let's talk about the person that your PIs talked to and all that. I mean, have you guys kept in touch with this person? Have they run into this particular person again? Or is it just a one-time type of deal when it comes to this photo right here?
They were just in that spot, took a picture. They were up there to enjoy Grandfather Mountain.
Hello, puppy love. Good to see you.
Can
One
we
more like, everybody hit that like
bit
button as you're coming on in. We'll have a party
in
at
this
50.
photo, because I know that there's been a lot of theories, a lot of speculation on this particular.
Okay. So I told everybody that if we had 15 likes, we would have a party. And this is Granny's version of the chicken party or the machete party, okay? And I'm going off of what Chris had said in the Web Sleuths video about being Seth's biggest cheerleader, okay? And I'm using Chris's own words. So here we go, guys. Hello, Super Cat. Good to see you.
I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time.
So that was our Chris the cheerleader, Chris the Seth's cheerleader party. Okay, so when we get up to 30 likes, we'll play it again, okay? All right, let's continue on.
The woman, is there any leads as far as who this woman could be and all that?
No idea who the lady is. We don't even know if she was with the gentleman or not.
Oh, okay. So she could have just been walking.
She could have just been walking by to go to her vehicle.
Man, okay. Another thing, though, too. I know this is like just an ear, but right here, this looks like another kid, maybe, right there.
Well, if you scroll back out and you look down, you'll see that there's 2 feet right there.
Yeah.
And he's walking one direction, and the person that I believe to be Sebastian is walking another. They're playing on the rocks.
Right. Tony, what are your thoughts on laying your eyes on this footage and on this photo and everything? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it's hard to refute what a father says, right?
No doubt.
I mean, he believes it's his son, and that I'm going to support him in believing that. I told Seth when I first saw the picture, without any AI test done or anything like that, that I believed that it looked like Sebastian's posture. I believed that there was a strong possibility that it was him, but nobody knows like the biological mother and father. And if he says that he believes it's him, then I'm going to support him in that.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me ask you this then too, Seth.
So, guys, here's my question. I know I remember praying the same thing, but if you look at that picture, right? If you look at that picture and think about the video of the roadhouse, one of the things that struck me was how thin Sebastian is. And that picture, that boy was thin too. And he was holding his hand kind of the same way Sebastian does. It really does look a lot like Sebastian. And if it's not Sebastian, which is what they're saying, it wasn't Sebastian, then he has a twin, right? I mean, I remember seeing that and thinking, wow. The only thing I will say is that the hair seemed a lot darker, right? I don't know if that was the lighting but the hair did seem darker. But that's not saying, look at how dark Seth's hair is. So it's not saying that Sebastian's hair couldn't have gotten darker in the last 10 months. Thought someone had changed his hair color to disguise him. That is a really good point. Okay. So if they changed his hair color, here's my thought. I don't know why I'm going down this road all this time again. But that's kind of what we're doing, right? We're looking at old videos to see, was there something we missed? Okay, so I don't think we know, but What information did they use to rule out that this child wasn't Sebastian? Okay, so a birth certificate, well, that can be faked. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. That woman saying it was her son, she could be lying. And I'm not trying to make things worse for the woman in the picture or anything like that. I'm just throwing things out there that if he was taken, if he's being hidden, if he's being moved around, they're not going to give honest information if they're questioned by police, are they? So yeah, Poppy, his hair did look lighter, but Ginger brought up the point that maybe they changed his hair color. If somebody had him, maybe they changed his hair color. I mean, I would hate to think that that's something that happened. I would hate to think that. I hope that that woman and that boy are who they say they are. I don't know. I'm just looking for straws. I'm grasping for straws here, guys. Help me out.
Any word from the Proudfoots about this photo? Do they believe this to be Sebastian, or do they think different?
I haven't had much communication with them since I returned from North Carolina, and when I was up in North Carolina, I had no signal.
Okay. Man. Okay. Well, hopefully you guys are going to have a conversation soon, right?
That's what I'm thinking,
correct.
Ginger.
Where y'all have signal at the same time, because hopefully you guys are going to still work together. That alliance is still prominent, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I mean, fingers crossed, real talk. Fingers crossed for that, for sure. I got a couple questions. There's some people who have some super chats that want to ask some questions here really, really quick. Like I said, it's not going to be a super long conversation, guys, but I just wanted to give you guys the update, introduce you guys to the news spokesperson, and talk about this sighting here. And I appreciate you guys blessing us with your time. Real talk. Seth, Tony, we really do appreciate it. Real talk. Michelle says, thank you so much. Sebastian Strong, all day. We agree. All day.
Just like Pascal, I would definitely, your fan base is Sebastian's army. They are Team Sebastian. With their help, with everybody's help, Sebastian will be found and brought home. And I appreciate all the help that you're doing by keeping my son's name out there. And I appreciate all the support.
Of course, brother.
Army.
Of course. We're all Sebastian Strong here. Okay? All of us. We all want the same thing. Sebastian home, transparency, truth, and just him home, right? And I feel like we'd all do the same for each other, right? We'd all fight and bring up conversations and have a Tony Mathis, like I said, having someone to come in and take the brunt of some of the heavy lifting while you can go off and work on finding Sebastian, figuring out if he is in North Carolina or not. We're all here for the exact same goal at the end of the day. Even Michelle says amen, right? The five Canes says CP verbally abused a lady today, so good luck. Well,
we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. So, like I said, the rumor mill's still rumor milling. Okay. And I will say this too. The Prophets love to have them on this platform to have a conversation anytime they want. Literally. I want to make that abundantly clear. Okay. Because.
Yeah, she did. I remember that. She was very upset. Whether Seth saw those or not, I don't know, but she did ask for those pictures to be removed from the internet. But things are out there. Once something's on the internet, It's out there forever. You're never going to get rid of it because people downloaded it onto their computer or whatever. You know, that's next to impossible. But you know, if I was the mother of that boy and he wasn't Sebastian, I'd be upset too, wouldn't you? I mean, my child's picture's out there all over the place, you know. That would be scary. It really would be scary.
Hey, they have some information. Seth has some information. If there really is an alliance going on, come on over. Let's have a conversation. A conversation. Stephanie, thank you so much. Wouldn't a parent have to verify the footage, or do they have DNA is Sebastian, or did they get DNA? I think that the question is, wouldn't they have to verify footage by a parent? That's actually a good question. Tony?
Yeah, no, you don't verify footage. You verify the person in the footage. And until they figure out who that person is, there's nothing to verify.
Exactly, Super Cat. It's impossible. You know, I think I downloaded it to my computer, you know, because we had so many older pictures of Sebastian, you know, that if this was, plus I think I spoke on it, right? So, but I remember going back and deleting it, feeling badly for this lady at the time that this happened, right? But even rich people can't you just can't, because it's going to come back up and surface at some point, you know. It just is, and there's nothing anybody can do about it.
So, you know, a DNA doesn't do any good on a photo or video. So they're chasing down who the person is. When they figure out who the person is, they'll know if that's Sebastian or not.
Right.
They won't need DNA for that.
No doubt. Actually, let's talk about this too, because I also heard over the past week that there were pants that were found. Can we talk a little bit about that? Tony, do you have any information about the pants? Okay, Seth, any information on the pants that were found?
While I was in North Carolina, somebody did reach out to me and stated that they found a pair of pants in a park. I don't remember the exact name of the park. I did reach out to the detective over the case and let them know that somebody found a pair of pants that were like the ones that Katie described Sebastian wearing. And I let him know. He said that he was going to take care of it, and he turned around and had them collected.
Okay. But they said it's not a match, right? There's no connection.
Correct. They let me know the next day that they were not Sebastian's.
How did they know?
From my understanding, it was the wrong size.
Wrong size. Did they say it was too small, too big? What does he usually wear? What size did he
not tell me? They did not tell me specifics. They just said that the size was wrong.
Interesting. Okay.
But I definitely would like to extend my thank yous to the two lady officers that went into the river, into it, and fought off the deadly moccasins.
That's really neat that he's thanking those officers for going into the river to get those pants. But here's the thing. I don't trust Sumner County, right? It'd be easy to say, oh, those weren't the right size. Right? I don't know. Mr. Snuggle Struggle, right?
And ticks that the other gentleman wasn't, because at least somebody was able to do something. I couldn't do it myself. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the officers that did.
Well, hey, shout out to those officers for being willing to get dirty. Long story short, right?
Yes.
We appreciate them. We appreciate every bit of help. Oh, hey, had a good question. Seth, how would Sebastian introduce himself? That's actually a very good question. Just in case somebody runs into him, how would Sebastian introduce himself?
If you start a conversation with him, he would more than likely introduce him like I've taught him to introduce himself. He would tell you his first and last name. Hi, I am Sebastian Rogers. Or if he's not comfortable with you, he might just tell you his first name.
Okay. But he'll still introduce himself as Sebastian. He wouldn't use some sort of nickname or anything else.
No, he never liked any of the nicknames I gave him.
What were some of the nicknames that you would give him?
I like to call him my Padawan, and he really didn't appreciate that. He thinks he's a Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
He's just not on the council yet. So, that's one of the things.
Okay.
So, what statement, K9? What statement disgusted you? I already lost it a lot. It's like, okay, what were we talking about? I don't remember. You were watching old videos of Craddock today? Yeah. And that's right. Supercat is K9's daughter. Always happy to have her here. So what statement, K9, were you looking at? Just curious. Wow, this is a long video. Okay.
So just in case anybody's out there, now you know what not to call him. How's that?
Yeah.
Don't make him pull out the lightsaber.
Don't let him do that. God forbid. Don't do that. Okay. Michelle says, amen. Tell him, Seth. Marlena says, did Sebastian ever go by Seb?
No.
Okay. That's good to know as well. A65 Picker. Thank you so much. Sebastian's glasses arm connect to the top to frame. Kid in pic, glasses at the moment connects in the middle of the frame. I see what they're saying. The glasses, where the frame is attached. I guess usually the arm of the glasses are attached to the top of the frame, but in this particular photo, they're in the middle of the frame.
Last year he went through, because normally when he gets glasses, he gets 2 frames at least.
Yeah.
Because I personally remember Katie asking me, I think we replaced his glasses 6 times last year.
Wow.
So
6 times. I mean, wait. So it's 6 times, meaning they just kept breaking 6 times in a row, or like he just wanted to change his swag a little bit. Look,
He falls asleep with him in the bed and then rolls over on him. I mean, he's a kid.
Yeah.
He's out there playing gym class, and a couple times I think he's taken a basketball to the face, and we've had to replace his glasses before.
Okay.
He doesn't understand that glasses cost a lot. But what kid does?
Yeah. True. An active kid, they're going to go through, and they wear glasses every day. They're going to be going through some glasses.
You missed it.
That's some real talk.
No.
Flower, thank you so much. Seth,
how many likes are we at?
Katie's mother or sister? That's a good question.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Of course, he's met them. Yeah.
Okay.
We're at
It's been
18.
like 12 years since I've met any of their family.
Okay,
and
when we get to 20, I'll
after
play
the
it again.
divorce,
How's that?
There was no reason for us to really keep in contact.
Makes sense. I just know that, there's a lot of speculation and questions about all the, this photo and all that too. So I get it though.
And respectfully to your group, Pascal,
Uh-huh.
it's going to feel like a big change but we have to prove to each other as we're talking in different venues that we are committed to focusing on Sebastian. And any conversation that goes from Seth to Chris and Katie, or from Chris and Katie about Seth, it's just not productive.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I 110% agree. Go ahead, Seth.
I agree. I mean, in order to keep this about Sebastian, we need to only talk about Sebastian.
No doubt.
You know,
no doubt.
we're working together. It may be tenuous at times, but we're still working together. And the goal is Sebastian. You know,
I will say this. It was years ago that he said that. And I tried to find the context of why he said it. You know, because I think you just can't use something like that from years ago on a person and not have the context. But I couldn't find it. But either way, with or without context, it's uncalled for, and it's disturbing. You know, very disturbing. It really is. And he may not have been sheriff at that time, but he probably was a law enforcement officer, you know, and forget even in law, forget LE altogether. He's a human being. So R should not be thought of as a snuggle struggle. Right? Any decent human being is not going to look at it that way. And I feel sorry for anyone that goes into that office and tries to report an R in their office. Oh, that account's suspended now. Okay. I didn't go that far, but I was just trying to find it on his page, what he was replying to, because usually that'll all be together on was it on Facebook or was it on Twitter? I thought it was on Twitter. No. Maybe it was on both. I don't know.
And I agree. As long as the goal is the common goal, right? Finding Sebastian, you know, no mud being slinging back and forth, nothing getting murky. We're just here to find Sebastian, right? And I think there's a lot of people that want to show you some love, like Kimberly saying, Seth is such an amazing person. May God bless him abundantly, praying for Sebastian to be returned home safe and soon.
Thank you, Miss Kimberly.
Yes, Primrose. Seth, praying every day Sebastian is alive and you are reunited with your son soon. Much support and love to you. May you remain strong and find him ASAP. Yes, I think we all agree on that as well. Okay, when he comes home, hold on tight. That's what Sharon just said. Brandy said, we love you, Seth. Yeah, I think we're all, I mean, you know.
I'll fight you in order to hold on to my son. Okay?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a beautiful thing when you guys are finally reunited. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm looking forward to it. Real talk. But there's a lot of people wanting to show you some love. Leslie saying, Seth, good luck. I hope your heart helps find Sebastian. You have hundreds of us who care, and you have chosen well with Tony. Much love. Thank you, Tony. Yes, Tony. Yes, I do appreciate you coming in and putting in the effort, you know, because I know that you are working very, very hard and very, very diligently and very closely to the Caleb Harris case. But I know that the Harris family gave you the blessing to be a part of this case. And I think that's a very wonderful thing. It shows the character of the Harris family being able to share the wealth, if that makes
I'd like to
any
say
sense.
Also, thank you to Randy and to the family. We've had many conversations, and I appreciate the fact that They are allowing Tony to help me find my son.
Yeah. I think adding Tony on is an amazing thing. For real.
We got we not only got the mom and the dad's approval, we even got the grandma's approval.
I've been
we call
watching
her Nana.
Poppy.
We got
There's
Nana's
supposed
approval.
to be more, I
Well,
think.
shout out to Nana. What's up, Nana? Hey, I appreciate it. I'm very, very excited because this needed to happen. Okay, this most definitely needed to happen. Real quick, Miss Purse, I realized the gravity of this update. Now we know that Sebastian was last seen alive last weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We don't know that
It
yet.
got good. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Okay, this is just a father's intuition. Okay, this is just a gut feeling, and I hope it is. Now,
Can you imagine how devastating that was to Seth? He had every hope that that was Sebastian. I can't even imagine. He must, if I were him, I had just been crying, right? And to answer your question, Poppy Love, I have been kind of keeping an eye on Twitter tonight for those guys, and it looks as though Nick just started a group on Twitter, which I didn't even know existed, for Sebastian. And while we were listening, I kind of asked to join, and then it says, you do realize it's not about drama, blah, blah, and I put absolutely. And then I had to accept all the regulations, and so he's going to review me. So I don't know. But yeah, I've been keeping an eye for Ginger because Ginger was suspended today on Twitter. I don't know how that happens, but I think I know, but yeah, stupid. You don't have Twitter, K9? Yeah. I don't think Brenda does either, do you, Brenda? Brenda Joe? You just have to make sure you say the right thing to everybody. You can't say the wrong thing. It's crazy. I thought Elon was a little bit more, I don't know. It's on Twitter. Poppy Love, it's on Twitter. And you have to ask to join. So he'll make tell JR. Brenda Joe doesn't have Twitter either. So what about Dreaming? Dreaming, are you still here? Do you have do you have Twitter? So I'm going to be the only one that has Twitter, looks like. Well, I got kicked off the Facebook group that he runs for Sebastian. Oh, okay. Dreaming, do you have Twitter? Oh, Poppy Love, you have Twitter. Okay, cool. That's good to know. That way I'm not just the only one watching it. You've never used it. I honestly am not good with it. So, I use it. I've been using it, but I'm not very good at it. You're blocked. I will. You had it once, but yeah. Yeah, I think what turned me off was trying to fit my sentences into however many characters they wanted you to have. I think that's changed now. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I just I like YouTube better than anything, I think, you know. Um, you only Yeah, Ginger just signed up and she's only had hers for a week. Oh my goodness, you know. um Ginger, I think you should reach out to Nick because I think he knows Elon. That might be the only way to get yours back. I have Facebook, but my son in college tells me it's for old people. I need to learn to use Twitter and the other social medias. Um, yeah, and well, and everybody's using TikTok, although that might go away, huh? Tweeter jail's okay. I know. I know. I've been hearing that too. You know, that private investigator needs to learn to think critically. um, I don't know. Yeah. Anything to spin the narrative, right? Anything. And it's not going to work, guys. It really isn't. That was posted under. Oh, but isn't that the group that you know who runs? Because I can't get in there. I was blocked for questioning why they could go after Seth. And that was okay. But you couldn't go after CP and KP, right? YouTube is more than enough for you, yeah. Well, I think, it's the biggest one for me right now. I just put everything out there to draw those other ones over my way. I honestly don't do hardly anything with TikTok. Honestly, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, he was Poppy Love, with someone else as well. And I'm just not going to say those names here because I don't want to be a part of all that drama. My biggest thing is to focus on Sebastian, stay away from all the garbage, I mean, but I will say, people, I mean, I cannot believe people will stoop so low as to get somebody suspended on a social media app. No, the flashlights were the newspaper boy. I saw something by him earlier and it was about that. And I wanted to type, haven't you seen the mob video about the flashlights? What's wrong with you? Or something like that. And I thought, no, I'm just not. And, it's not that I don't have the guts to do it, but I just don't want to be drawn into it. It isn't worth it. because it doesn't end and nobody wins, right? It doesn't end. Nobody wins. It's just ridiculous. It's not that it doesn't make me mad, because it does. It does. Are we at 20 likes yet, people? Everybody hit that like button, because we're going to do a Chris cheerleading party. Once we get up to 20, let's finish this one out.
Real quick, before we continue on, because a lot of people just wanted to pour a lot of positivity to both of you guys. One thing I do want to ask you, where do you think if he's actually in that area, have you guys thought about maybe any areas he could possibly be at?
Ooh, one more like.
We don't really want to speculate on
Who's
that.
counting?
We've had some private conversations on that, but God forbid if it's him. I mean, it's just, I think there's an abundance of happiness right now seeing a picture of somebody that could be Sebastian alive. So
yeah,
all I'm saying, you don't know what's going through my head, Poppy Love. No, seriously. Yeah, you're good. You're good. No worries there. I just, it's like I said, nobody wins, right? Nobody wins in that situation. And, it's not that things don't bother me or whatever, but, I think that if we can stand up and say, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, we're not going to talk badly about other creators. We're not, if they want to get you suspended and blocked on other, well, then, that's on them, I don't know. I wondered that too. But why would they do that? I mean, that's not going along with their narrative. Yeah, I agree. One more diversion. You must have at least listened to your mother. If you can't say something nice, don't say it at all. I have heard that. But you know what my mom used to say to me? If they're talking about you, they're leaving somebody else alone. Isn't that mean? I'd say, Mom, that doesn't help me. If they're talking about you, they're leaving somebody else alone. Thanks, Mom. Bless her heart, she's in heaven. But that used to tick me off when she'd say that.
Yeah.
We're going to hold on to that, and we're going to let law enforcement do their thing. And, we're going to talk a little bit more about law enforcement, Pascal, when you're ready to talk about it. But I'd certainly like to see a little more transparency there. And I'm not speaking for the whole family when I say that. I'm speaking for Seth. But I would also like Katie and Chris to have a little more information about what exactly is going on. And, I know that's not the major concern for Chris and Katie, but it is for Seth. I would like to get more information. Right now, I'm not going all in on law enforcement, but when I do, you'll know that I'm going all in on law enforcement. I'm simply saying right now that I would like more generalized information about what's going on with the case. Are they still believing that the kid just, walked out of the house and took off?
This is already May, and they're asking for more information. They don't get it until December.
I think that what Chris and Katie and Seth know right now is not near as much as I'd want to know if this was my son that was missing, and I'll just leave it at that.
No doubt. And of course, anytime you're ready to talk about what you just kind of tapped in on as far as law enforcement and what you want from them and all that, the floor is open. Just holler. Just let me know,
Appreciate
Tony. And we will definitely talk, because I know
How many likes we got, guys?
I know there's been a lot of questions
Everybody
about
hit the
TBI,
like
about
button.
local
We're
law
gonna have a
enforcement,
partay.
the lack thereof, and all that. I know that there's a lot that I'm hoping that having you involved will hopefully expedite a few things and get things moving a little bit faster and sooner, for lack of a better
Absolutely.
term. Phrase, but real quick, this is something, servant of God, and unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to get to every single super chat, guys, okay? But I do
19,
appreciate
we
you
only
guys
need one
just
more.
giving in the love and support and asking questions. There's a picture of Sebastian in a home with wood flooring, but he's wearing shoes and he's holding a backpack. Is that your home? Now, I don't know if you are comfortable in saying that information, but apparently there's a photo of this.
I don't know what photo she's speaking of.
Yeah.
So it's kind of,
I know which photo they're speaking of, and I think that's Chris and Katie's home.
Is in my kitchen. It's definitely not wood floor. I wish it was.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually curious as to what that photo is too. Okay. Piper says, just wanted to tell Seth, I pray every day for him and Sebastian. Thank you so very much. I really do. We all really do appreciate that. Stephanie, we are Sebastian's friends, millions of friends around the world who love him. Yeah, that's one thing you did mention on another show, Seth, that there was talks of him not having many friends, and now when he gets reunited with you, he's reuniting with the rest of the world, with everybody who has been so touched by this case. He's going to have millions of friends. So what I absolutely echo and second that emotion that Stephanie is saying right there, for sure. I really do appreciate that right there. Did the woman who took the pic ask someone if his name was Sebastian, and the person replied, no, his name is Dominic?
We don't know anything about that.
Okay, because that's news to me too, about that part as well. Okay. Rosie says, Lord is with you. He goes before you. He never leaves you, and he surrounds you with unconditional love. Amen to that. Amen to that. So, Must says, has anyone in the footage come forward? That's actually a really good question. Have you spoken to anybody that was in this photo, or anyone that was maybe around it, aside from the person who actually took the photo? Have they spoken out or reached out to you at all, Seth?
Not that I know of currently.
Okay. Nothing so far. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
How long did it take?
Let's see. Serenity says,
we've hit 20.
I think that was some other child. The parents would come forward and say it's not Sebastian. That's a good point.
Okay. Well, let's have our partay. This is Chris, the cheerleader.
I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time. I have been a supporter and a cheerleader for him this whole time.
Okay, we're almost done with this video, I think. Well, maybe not, but I think that's where we're going to end it for today, guys. I thought they were going to get off, but looks like they talked for quite a while longer. So, rah, Chris, rah. Go, Seth, go. We need to come up with a cheer. Doesn't look like he has many fans in the stands. He doesn't look like he's enjoying being a cheerleader either. Oh, yeah. Ever ever since we watched that video and we were all laughing about Seth being, or Chris being Seth's biggest cheerleader, I had that picture in my head. The only thing I wish is if anybody knows anybody who can animate that and to make him look like he's cheering, that would be awesome. Wouldn't that be fun? See him jumping up and down. Oh. All right. So, let me see here. I'm going to leave you with my grannyism for today. Beauty is not in the face. It's a light in the heart. You know, I loved that when I heard it. I thought, oh, that's just really beautiful, you know, because as we grow older, I don't feel that I look very beautiful anymore, right? But it's the light in the heart. It's, you know, who we are as people, what we project out into the world. And so I thought that would be a really good one to share today. So remember, guys, your beauty is a light in your heart. Don't forget, we're going to have our Christmas giveaway during our live broadcast on December 23rd. I realize you're going to get it after Christmas, but that's okay. You'll be fine. So, all right. See if I missed anything. Yeah, it truly is a light in the heart. All right. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here. And for those of you who were in our members only live earlier today, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, become a member, guys. We're going to have some good things coming up. I promise you. So everybody have a good night, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.